Hi. Okay, so this is our last topic of Unit 3. We're still solving for one variable. Okay, here's the title. We're still solving for one variable, but now involving fractions. Okay, so this is the lesson, this is the guided lesson. The guided practice. There's only 4 exercises, so just make sure that before you get started watching the video, you have the 4 exercises ready to copy on a piece of paper or already copied on a piece of paper. So by now you have already done the previous assignment, the bell work, which was investigating about the least common multiple. Okay, the least, let me zoom in more. The least common multiple, or LCM. Okay, it is also called the least common divisor, but I didn't include that in your bell work. All right, so what happens? We need to solve for x. You see, in this particular example, in example number 1, we need to solve for x. Okay, it says solve. All right, so it means that we need to find the value for x. We need to leave the x by itself. All right, we need to get to this, but now we have fractions. All right, so how do we get rid of the fractions or simplify in a more quick way? All right, so far in our previous lessons, I'm gonna write over here in the back of the paper, we covered solving for one variable. We started with divide, then letters to the left, numbers to the right, Then the next step is combine like terms on both sides. And then as the equation gets more kind of complicated, then what's the other skill? Parentheses. What happens when you have parentheses? You distribute. Remember, we covered the distributive property. So the last step, do you have fractions? Do we have fractions? Yes. So what do? There's a method, and we usually use Old MacDonald. I don't know if you remember that little song, Old MacDonald. It goes something like this. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Okay, and then with a moo-moo here, with a moo-moo there, you know, it's a song about the farm animals. So, do we have fractions? Yes. So what are we going to use instead of with a moo-moo here or quack-quack here, you know, whatever, because of the song? We're going to use that, the least common multiple. So in this equation, we have to think and look at the denominator. All right, so all fractions here have a common denominator, a 3. So if we have fractions, we're going to multiply everything here by 3. All right, so I have this plus this, and then our equal sign right here, and then 2x plus this plus this. All right, so we said that since our fractions, the common denominator is 3, we don't need to find a least common multiple. We can just multiply everything by 3. All right, so in order to get rid of 3's right here, I don't want them there, I'm going to multiply everything by 3. So that's why this is where we use the Old MacDonald song. Do you have fractions? Yes. Use Old MacDonald. So what are we going to put? With the 3 here and the 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 everywhere. Each of these is going to be multiplied by 3. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to use the green highlighter. So this one is being multiplied by 3. This one is being multiplied by 3. This one is being multiplied by 3. This term right here is being multiplied by 3. And this one also multiplied by 3. Alright? So, what happens here? If you're multiplying 3 times 7, it's what? 21. And 21 divided by 3 gives you 7. Or you can say that 3 crosses out with 3 and you left with 7. 7 what? 7x. Plus, then we have the plus sign. Let me highlight the plus signs here and the equals. Alright, because these are what it's separating each of the terms. So, and on this one, what do? Cross out the 3 with the 3. What do you have left? 1x plus 1x. Bring down the equal sign. Over here, there's no fraction, but you're multiplying by 3. So 3 times 2 is 6x plus 3 times 2 divided by 3. What do? Cross out the 3 and you have a 2. There's no x on this one. Plus 3 crosses out with 3 and you have 5 what? With the x. Right? We got rid of the fractions. You know? Magic. Now what are we left to do? What do we have to do? I see x's here, here, and here. So I'm going to combine like terms. 7 plus 1 gives me 8x. Bring down the equal. Over here I have these two x's. 6 plus 5, 11x plus 2. Alright, if this video starts getting too long, I'm going to have to divide it into 2 videos, okay? Alright, so I still have the x on this side and the x on this side. What's the next step? Letters to the left, numbers to the right. Let me write down over here what the steps that we're following. Over here we're using combine like terms. And here, letters to the left, numbers to the right. Okay? So if I want the x's over only on this side, what do? I subtract 11x. If I subtract on this side, I have to subtract on this other side. These two get canceled, they're gone. 8 minus 11 gives you negative 3x. Bring down the equal, and you have 2. And finally, what's the last step? If you want to solve for x, and there's a number right next to it, what do? Divide, divide. Divide, divide by negative 3, negative 3. These two become a 1, they cross out. X equals negative 2 over 3. And this is your answer. Okay? So once you simplify the fractions and once you get rid of the denominators, the rest of the steps are just like the exercises that you have been doing. Okay? All right. Number 2, solve and graph. So look at this expression right here. We need to solve for x. Again, I see the x here and here. But I have fractions. Here's a plus sign, here's the equal sign, here's a plus sign, and here's a plus sign. All right. But look at the denominators right now. We have 2, 8, and 4. So what is the least common multiple here, or the common multiple that is going to divide these fractions? If we multiply everything by 2, over here you're going to end up 2 over 8. You're gonna still have a fraction. If we use the 4 divided by 2 is going to give you 2, but 4 divided by 8 is going to give you 1/2. So it's better if we use the 8. Okay, so this is the least common multiple for these numbers as a denominator. Okay, so do you have fractions? Yes. What do? Use Old MacDonald with the 8 here, the 8 here, the 8 everywhere. And multiply everything by 8. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Each of the terms we're multiplying by 8. Okay, so 8, so let me start doing by parts. 8 times 1, 8, divided by 2 gives you 4. We got rid of this one right here. Now 8 times 1, again, 8, and 8 divided by 2 gives you 4x. What sign do we need to bring down? Plus. Then bring down the equal sign. Over here, 8 divided by 8, they divide out, it becomes a 1, so you have 3. Then bring down the plus, and over here, 8 times 5 is 40, and 40 divided by 4 gives you 10x. Okay, you can do this operation in several forms. You can do it with a calculator. If you have a calculator, just want you to look at the operation that you see. You have 8 times 5, 8 times 5, and then divided by 4. Divided by 4. It gives you 10. All right, so it's 10, but with the x. Then bring down the plus sign. Again, 8 times 3 divided by 4 is going to give you what? I'm going to put it over here. 8 what? Times 3 divided by 4 gives you 6. Okay, so here we have the x, the terms that contain the x, the terms that we need to simplify. Okay, what do we do here? We can combine like terms on this side, right? So combine like terms. I'm going to combine the 3 with the 6. What do we get? 3 plus 6 is 9 plus 10x. Over here, we cannot combine anything, so I'm just going to bring everything down. 4 plus 4x. Okay? And what's next? Letters to the left, numbers to the right. Letters to the left, numbers to the right. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract 10x, subtract 10x. So these two get canceled. Bring down the 4. 4 minus 10 gives you, it's going to be minus 6x. And this equals 9. And that's it. We got rid of the x's right here. But we still have a number over here, and I want it over here on the right. So subtract 4, subtract 4. These two are gone. Bring down the minus 6x, and this equals 9 minus 4. That's 5. How do you get rid of the negative 6? Divide by negative 6, negative 6. This becomes a 1, and x equals negative 5 over 6. This is your answer. Now, it's asking us to graph. So what do we need to do? Convert negative 5 over 6 to decimal. So I'm going to put -5 divided by 6. Remember, I found this old calculator, but you can use the calculator in your cell phone. It's -0.8333. So x equals -8, -833 repetitive. So if we're going to graph this is the 0, this is the -1, and the point -0.83 is going to be around here, -0.83 repetitive. Here's the value of x. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop the video right here because I don't want it to be very a large video, so I'm just going to divide the lesson into 2 videos. All right. Okay, I will continue on the next part.